Okay, busy day today. We have the Fed announcement at 2 p.m. We're right up here, this, let's call it 301.60 to 302, resistance in the market. We had a little bit of a dip right on the open yesterday. Nothing too exciting. I would expect things to be kind of quiet until the announcement. So, buyers still very, very much in control. The easiest thing would be for a pretty strong breakout, a couple of dollars to the upside, and then probably come in and calm down. Unless they do something unexpected, then all bets are off, but they're most likely going to do what's expected, quarter point rate cut. All right, so Apple is acting really well. I think that, the iPhone numbers weren't that impressive. I think what I put in the notes was China. Obviously, China is what's hurting them, but it's not as bad as what it was before and what people were thinking. So I think that's a big deal. And then people are also starting to realize that the service business is just continuing to just grow like a ton. And so we're right kind of back up from where the sell-off started. When was this? So November 2018, started from 220. Oh yeah, now I remember. So the news was disappointing. It was the China thing. We shorted the pop back up to 210. That was the idea, was basically short the pop, and ended up going much further than I expected to the downside over the next couple months. But that was a nice short. We're back up here now above 210. Similar to Facebook in a way, because it's worked its way back up to the high, almost to the high, and Facebook had a pretty good pull on that. Facebook's got some issues that Apple's not dealing with from a bigger picture perspective. But that's kind of my thought on it, bigger picture, which is, it's up in this area here, and if it fails to hold up here today or even in the next few days and comes back down, you could get a decent pullback. For today, so it's already below the after hours support. Now that doesn't mean much, but this was the first real support I had was 216. So we've talked about this a million times. I'll repeat it for the new people. When you have like a really strong tech stock like this that gaps up a lot, quite often, even if it trends up for the day, you'll get a nice flush on the open, which quite often doesn't lead to further downside. So you'll get, so it was up here at 218. You might actually get a flush down at 216, or maybe even somewhere in this area here. And then it can close the day at 220. So, and that's why when we shorted Facebook the other day, I flipped it to long, thinking they might just flush it and then bounce it. In that case, it ended up being a multi-day short. But you generally don't know that stuff until kind of later in the day in day two. So what do I have for resistance? 220, 223. Okay. So yeah, 220, the real resistance. But again, we want to pay attention a little bit to the after hours. 218.50. Made a lower high in the pre-market, 218.20. So it's this area right here. So we'll start here. This is kind of our starting range, and then we'll see if it moves outside of that. Flush on the open very quickly is back up here and holds here for 5-10 minutes and takes this out. You want to play it for a move closer to 220. So that's Apple. AMD, they lowered guidance for next quarter, but apparently not everyone thinks that's a bad thing because it's not down much. Here's the 30-minute. So we played it on the desk. People made a lot of money on this breakout here. I played this when it came back down here, got long, played it for the move back up to, well, you can see it's still marked up. Played it for a move back up to here. Kind of pulled back shallow, tested the high before coming in a little bit, tested the high again. So people wanted to believe that the numbers were going to be good, guidance was going to be good, just coming into earnings, just looking at the chart. And so I would think some people would be quite long it, even though there was only one analyst I saw had anything negative to say. So to me, it's like if it's below 33, you got to give it a shot on the short side. You know, maybe it comes into 31. I put 30, 80, 31 on the sheet of support, probably because of this support right here. And 30 is probably the next. 3180 actually is the first one from this. Okay, from right here. 3180. That's where this up move started from right here. Okay, so and then you got this kind of working its way here. Even if it shakes off kind of the bad guy and somehow gets above 33. Oops. 3330. Then I put 34 as next, but you can kind of see this forming right here. I still, even if it ends up being strong intraday, I would still put on an options position to play a down move over the next few days. I don't like the weak guidance for next quarter. All right, so that is AMD. Okay, now we have the disaster central. And so, all right, so there's no support. We have seen, yesterday there was a really good bounce in, thank you, SSNC. The one thing I want to say about this, even though SSNC is completely different setup than the great bounce in EXAS the other day, I just wanted to show you something quickly. Here's the 5-minute. So like we were buying it at the 47 on the open, just, whole number. We thought 48 was probably overdone. And so anytime you get something overdone and it can get a little bit lower, you try to buy it. But even if you just kind of waited, and it was kept on failing at 48, it made the higher low here. But if you just waited till it started to hold above 48, which you did, Mike, and bought some more, or even got long if you weren't long it yet, you caught a really clean $2 up move. And so you don't necessarily have to do what I'm doing, especially in something like this, which was really more of a, oh, this is overdone, as opposed to EXAS, where there was a real actual edge there. And if you compare it to EXAS, I'll do the same thing. If you just waited for it actually to have the first reversal, the reversal bar here, and the hold for 20 minutes after the reversal bar, you never really came close to getting stopped out if you were buying in here, and you caught a move back up to, this is a pretty clean $3 move before the afternoon craziness. And so you don't have to, obviously if something's coming down into an area, we have levels and they're buying at a whole number, something like that, you definitely can give it a shot. But it has downside momentum at that point. Once you get a reversal bar, what it does is it attracts other people, and other people start buying it, and so it becomes very clear if a level drops, you hit out, etc. And so that's, put on the sheet, there's nothing really till here, 2750. So the more it comes down, if it kind of just settles down, and you get one of those, reversal bars, and then you can buy it and you play it for a move. It's pretty good. I don't think I'd be shorting it down here. So that's kind of that. Yeah, ENPH, I think was going to be pretty crazy on the open, but I think after the open might be okay. Although if it went straight up a couple more dollars in the open, you probably could just short it. So, so that's that. GE for the people who just really want to control the risk. I put in expensive there. I wasn't actually joking. It's expensive on an earnings. It's come off, it came back from $6, and things have stabilized financially, but it is kind of, it's pricey up there. We played it, I think, this day here. It really can't close above $11. I guess we'll see the next few days. If it actually starts having some closes, in this area here, then I suppose it could work its way back up to $12. But right now, I think the benefit, we got to give the benefit of the doubt to the sellers kind of up here. See if it pulls in a little bit. So 1050. AMRN, I put it on here because it just had some crazy, the numbers were in line and it actually printed close to 20. So I just thought maybe they would pop it there and you could short it. But it looks like the jig is up on that one. So remember they did the secondary at 18. We played it as a long from here. It couldn't get above 1880. So you can watch to see if that starts to act as support. Let's call it 1870, 1880. Does it support there? It actually looks like it already printed down there, huh? So yeah. Okay. So yeah, so it's already come off. These were rogue prints. They started selling it at 1920 in the pre-market. But yeah, it could support right here between 1870 and 1880 and maybe reclaim 19. And then EMPH, which popped in the after hours on really strong numbers. Roth Capital, the king of raised price targets on low price stocks, raised it from 23 to 30. Oppenheimer 26 from 13. Everybody loves it. So yeah, there's a good chance it can put in a blow off top today. H.C. Wainwright upgraded to a buy, price target 36. Here's the daily. So apparently these guys all caught on. It was a good long now that it's gone from 5 to 26. So last quarter it gapped up from 10 to 12 and it's doubled up from the trend now, from the gap up. Yeah, I would think that it's probably going to do some sort of blow off top. The higher the better. But again, that's going to be really crazy right on the open. But now that everyone's jumping on board, all the analysts that had low ratings on it raised it. All the people had strong, they continue to raise it. So it'll do something like it'll go vertical and then it'll work its way back up to the uptrend. Usually that's what happens today or over the next few days.